What's happening, everybody? Amp Capo here, Black Adonis Games. We are inside of Lyra starter game for Unreal Engine 5. And this is going to be the first of a couple of videos I'm going to do on optimizing your project. If you find that you're testing your project, and especially if when you turn like I'm doing here, and I mean this in your built project, not in the engine. If you are in your project and you're turning like this, and it is chopping up the screen and everything's getting choppy, I have the video for you. All right, stay tuned. We're going to fix that right now. All right, the way we're going to fix this is going to be using what is called LODSync. How I figured out my problem was that I have metahumans in my project, and I noticed that every time I was anywhere near those metahumans, it was glitching really bad. All right, so that made me look more into the metahumans, and they have an I keep wanting to say HLOD. I'm sorry, guys. It's actually just LODSync. They have a LODSync component on every metahuman character. I can show you one of my characters here to give you an example. Okay, every character that is a metahuman comes with this LODSync. All right, this LODSync actually allows you to change LODs on the fly or just create settings here. And I went and I looked this up, and you can look up how to use this. There's documentation if you just type into any search engine UE5 LODSync or LODSync. It should bring a page that you can go to that is the documentation for metahumans. All right, and I'm not going to read this whole thing, guys. I'm just going to read you guys this little part here because this is the part that's really important to know for what we're doing. And you can read the whole documentation. It shows you everything, how to do it and what it does here. Okay, I'm just here to show you guys that you can use this on standard characters as well. It does not have to be a metahuman for this to be beneficial to you. All right, so it says the LODSync component manages and synchronizes LODs across different metahuman components so that they switch at the same time rather than individually and based on their own screen size like normal LODs do. This maintains the visual quality and consistency of other metahuman components that make up their body, head, hair, and clothes, even when they don't share the same number of LODs. Now that's really awesome. That's what the most important thing is. And I'm going to go ahead and just read this last little part here. For example, components above the neck, face, as well as all hair grooms can use up to 8 individual LODs, while components below the neck, body, feet, legs, and torso only have 4 LODs. Because of LODSync component, for every 2 LOD quality changes that happen for the components that are above the neck, only 1 LOD quality change happens below the neck. All right, so basically it's controlling the changes and keeping them in unison with each other. All right, so let's go back in here and I'm going to show you guys. This is pretty overwhelming how they have it set up here, so I'm just going to show you guys in one of my more basic setups. If you have metahumans, you could just follow that page and it'll show you how to set it up for a metahuman. It's a lot of work, but still it's well worth it what you get in the end. It got rid of all of the shuddering and stuttering that I was getting in my project, as you guys seen. If you watched the video of my latest update where I was just all excited about how smooth everything was moving, even though I had on all of the Lumen Nanite settings, which normally were staggering my situation. All right, so let's go ahead and open a different character, and I'm going to choose I'll choose this character because it does have at least a metahuman groom as well as a body, so I can demonstrate these things for you guys. So let's go ahead and go in, and I'll explain to you briefly how you use this and set this up really quickly. All right, the first thing that you're going to want to do is know how many LODs your actual mesh is using. So click on your skeletal mesh for your character, open it up, and then here just type in LOD. All right, that should break down only LOD settings in your character. From here, you're going to scroll down all the way until you see LOD settings. And then right here it says number of LODs. We have 4. You can generate more by just switching the number and pressing generate. It'll generate 2. It'll generate 10. Like whatever number you put here, it'll attempt to generate up to whatever the maximum amount is. All right. So if you look here, you're going to see your triangle count, which is for this mesh 202,657, and then 115 vertices. All right, 115,000. I'm sorry, vertices. Okay, so that's an average character. This character actually runs pretty well. All right, already, but this character does contain metahuman hair, so it puts a little bit more stress on the character, and it's a little bit more costly. So that's why this LODSync works really well for this character. So what you want to do is go into your LODs here, and this is how you make the choice on which LOD to pick to force your character to be at while in gameplay. All right, you want to go to your LODs and just start going through them. 0 obviously is the first LOD. You're going to look at your vertices and your triangles, and when they change, you'll know that you went to a different LOD. So there, we just went to LOD 1. Look at how low this count is. It's like less than a fourth of what we were using for vertices. But look at the character. You didn't see a true noticeable change in the character. If you really look, there's not a true noticeable change in the character. It's very minute, small things that in gameplay during action and you're running around, you're not going to see any of this stuff. All right. And you want to continue to do this until you notice a change. Now, I noticed here, as soon as I did this one, there's a defect here. So let's go back to LOD 1 so you can see it. See how that changed? So that's going to make me determine that this is the LOD that I'm going to want to use as my master LOD, which still is going to take away, look at this, it was 202,000. You see that? So that change is going to gain you a lot of performance. And you want to go in and look at the close details as well. And the same thing, if I go back to that LOD 2, you're going to notice the eyes. See how everything, look at the detail in the eyes is gone. You can't see the pupils. These are the things you want to look for. There, it's still there. It's not as good as here, but you're not going to be close enough to the character in live action gameplay to see the eyes like this. It's never going to be this close. All right. So that's the point of this, guys, to gain you some performance. And it really does an excellent job. So let's go ahead back into the character now and make sure you set your LOD back to auto. Don't leave it like that. All right. And then we can close this. We don't need it anymore. So now we're going to go ahead and actually go to our LODSync here. And I'm going to actually delete this information I have here, guys, so I can show you guys how to set it up. Okay. And we're going to put all this back to how it would be when you first get it. All right. So when you first add your LOD, and this is how you add it, you can just go here, type LOD, and you'll see LODSync. Click it. It's going to add the LOD. These are the settings at default. All right. Now we did look at our number of LODs on our mesh already and determined that it was 4. But since I have a metahuman groom on this character, this has 8 LODs. All right. So what I'm going to do is we are going to go ahead and set the number of LODs to 8, knowing that the metahuman hair is 8. All right. Forced LOD, we already determined was 1 because that was the LOD that it looked good at before things went wrong. And then the minimum LOD, I usually set the same as what the forced LOD is, just to make sure that, hey, this is where the only LOD from here and above we're going to show. All right. So that'll be that. Now, the next thing you're going to want to do, we can compile and save that if you want. The next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to add a component to sync. Okay. Now we have 2 components to sync, so I'm just going to add 2. All right. First one we're going to put is going to be the mesh. So you just copy the name exactly. You want it to be exactly. That's why I'm using copy. All right. And then you want to go here down to this index here, and the first one where it says name, you want to paste that in there. All right. The next component we have is going to be the groom. Same thing. Highlight it like you're going to rename it. Copy the name. Go to your LOD. Go down to your second member here and paste that. All right, so that'll give you the two components that it's going to control. All right. Now, since there are two actual components here, one of them could be passive. All right. And it can just follow the other. I just left them both on drive. It didn't do anything negative. It didn't have any negative impact that I noticed by having them both on drive. So if they drive their own LODs, it worked for me. So, I mean, documentation may say different or show different, but that's what worked for me. So I'm going to tell you guys that I just left them both on drive and that worked fine. All right. The next thing that you're going to want to do now is you want to do the same thing. You want to copy the mesh name and you want to paste that down here where it says custom LOD mapping. You want to add one. It's going to have a blank name and we're going to put the mesh there, and then we're going to add another one and we're going to copy the groom name and we're going to put the groom name down here. All right. Now you want to compile and save that. If you do not do the bottom steps here, you're not going to notice any changes when you put these numbers in. Nothing's going to happen. Now it has changed. If we go up to the eyeballs, you can tell it changed because the eyeballs have kind of a octagon and more boxy look to the pupils. Okay. So if we change this to 0, and we change this to 0, you're going to see that it got better. Now those pupils are nice and round. This is like pretty much the main LOD. You don't want to freeze it at this LOD or force this LOD. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and put this back on 1. And you can leave this on 0. This will just show the minimum LOD to use when syncing the components. So we could start it at 0. Or you could say, hey, no, I want to start them all at 1. Start syncing from LOD 1. Either way, it'll work. I just usually lock the minimum to be the same as the forced. And that works in gameplay for me. All right, guys. So that's pretty much it. And you'll notice the same thing if we go in and I change this to, I think it was 2 where we noticed the first flaw. And you're going to notice right here on the breast again, you're going to notice that that flaw is there again. So it's definitely doing it. You're going to notice a couple flaws if you get really, really close. And then you're going to notice the eyes are more jacked up and the mouth is kind of twisted and weird looking and there's no pupils. So that's how you know it's actually working. All right. So we're going to put it back to 1, which works fine. And if you notice, we're behind the character and everything in third person, still looks fine. All right. And live action gameplay, this is going to look fine. All right. So that's pretty much it, guys. Once you do that, you want to perform this on all your characters. If you don't have a groom, you can still use it, guys. Just if we didn't have a groom, and I can show you a character that doesn't have a groom, we'll go ahead and do that right quick. We're going to open a new character that I just created myself here. And this puppy has a lot of LODs. All right. I mean, not a lot of LODs, I'm sorry. It has a lot of triangles and vertices. This character has 1,280,000 triangles, 664,000 vertices, okay? So this is where things like this make a difference. I was able to actually take this character all the way down to the lowest LOD, which is 3. And if you notice, there's only 75,000 triangles and 45,000 vertices. You get up close to this character, you're not going to notice that much of a difference. Okay, because the LOD count is the triangle count is so high that you're just not going to notice that much of a difference between all those triangles. It's barely noticeable. So we were able to actually squeeze this character all the way down to this 75,000 using this process. So if you have a character that has very high count there in the game, make a blueprint out of that character, add this LODSync to it, and then force the LODs that you want, the LODs you know will work. And all you do for the members, you only put the 1 mesh component. There you go. So that's it, guys, man. That's how, if you want to, increase the speed of your project as far as the play speed and remove the glitching from LOD snapping out of sync with each other, and the system's trying to keep them caught up together and all that, and trying to keep up with all the different LOD snapping. All right, that's what causes a lot of stutter when you're playing your game, especially if it's a packaged game and it's stammering and stuttering and all that. That's probably what it is, guys. So that's it for this one, man. Use that LODSync, guys. I promise you it will benefit you. And you can also, before I go, I want you to know you can access this inside of your blueprints as an event construction script. And I'll show you, I already was messing around with it in this character. But if you go to construction script, you can drag off of your LODSync. You can just bring it in. That's how I got this. And then you can just drag off of it and put set, and then you could set whatever settings that you have, like forced LOD. So you can set this live on the fly, guys. So this will come in handy so that you can use the same character. Say you wanted to use this character for a cutscene. You can increase the LODs, decrease the LODs as needed, so that you don't have to sit there and keep creating another character or spawning another version of the character. This defeats all of those needs to do those things. You can just use this LODSync to totally control the quality of your character at all times. And that's my video on LODSync, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope it helps you guys, because it definitely helped me. My project's running really fast, really smooth now, 50 to 65 frames per second with Lumen and Nanite on. All right, so that's pretty good, man. You guys take it easy. Thanks for stopping by. Like, subscribe, tell a friend. count is so, I mean, the triangle count is so high that you're just not going to notice that much of a difference between all those triangles. It's barely noticeable. So we were able to actually squeeze this character all the way down to this 75,000 using this process. So if you have a character that has very high count, they're in the game, make a blueprint out of that character, add this LODSync to it, and then force the LODs that you want, the LODs you know will work. And all you do for the members, you only put the one mesh component. There you go. So that's it, guys, man. That's how, if you want to, you know, increase the speed of your project as far as the play speed and remove the glitching from LOD snapping out of sync with each other, and the system's trying to keep them caught up together and all that, and trying to, you know, keep up with all the different LOD snapping. All right, that's what causes a lot of stutter when you're playing your game, especially if it's a packaged game and it's stammering and stuttering and all that. That's probably what it is, guys. So that's it for this one, man. Use that LODSync, guys. I promise you it will benefit you. And you can also, before I go, I want you to know you can access this inside of your blueprints as an event construction script. And I'll show you, I already was messing around with it in this character. But if you go to construction script, you can drag off of your LODSync. You can just bring it in. That's how I got this. And then you can just drag off of it and put set, and then you could set whatever settings that you have, like forced LOD. So you can set this live on the fly, guys. So this will come in handy so that you can use the same character. Say you wanted to use this character for a cutscene. You can increase the LODs, decrease the LODs as needed, so that you don't have to sit there and keep creating another character or spawning another version of the character. This defeats all of those needs to do those things. You can just use this LODSync to totally control the quality of your character at all times. And that's my video on LODSync, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope it helps you guys, because it definitely helped me. My project's running really fast, really smooth now, 50 to 65 frames per second with Lumen and Nanite on, all right? So that's pretty good, man. You guys take it easy. Thanks for stopping by. Like, subscribe, tell a friend.